Welcome back. All right, so our rice is on our stove right now in a pan. We have a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. We threw in there with 1 small chopped onion and 3 cloves of garlic with 2 cups of long grain white rice. And over the break, we added about half a cup of vegetable stock. We're just trying to build the flavor and make it really, really delicious because the best part of paella is the nice crust on the bottom, and that's where all the flavor lies. So we're just building flavor continuously, and now we're just going to chop up the rest of the stuff we have.
Sounds good. All right, so before the break, we mentioned that, yes, my mom studied abroad in Barcelona. She was in college. She was there for a year, loved it so much, and decided to stay a second year. So when we were there, we tried to do the things that she recommended that we see. And I think we hit most of the major sites.
We did.
And she did a homestay. She didn't get her own place or anything. So the family that she lived with for 2 years still keeps in contact with her, and so I tried to go out of my way to find this family. So one night, the 3 of us just kind of like went to the northern part of the city, and I Google mapped it on my BlackBerry and like found where this family lived. And all the way from America, we get to this apartment building, and we get inside, and they're not home. So that was
sad.
It was pretty sad,
but it was definitely cool.
It was pretty interesting.
Exploring that area, and we were only really we were on Les Ramblas. We were in this touristy area, so to get out of that, and also to take the their metro was awesome.
Yeah.
And by the way, just cutting an apple for the juice sangria that we're gonna be making.
What's the name of this apple again?
Oh, it's a Gala apple. The reason why we picked it out is because it's really crunchy and sweet, so it'll still be crunchy even while it's sitting in the juice for your non-alcoholic sangria.
I wonder if it would change the taste if you used a different kind of apple. Like if this was a sweet apple, like if you did like a Granny Smith, which is a little more bitter.
I mean, I've been to restaurants before that use a Granny Smith apple. I know some people like to use a Fiji apple.
Yeah, I love those.
I like Gala apples, though. Those are the apples I use for snacks, so I just picked up an extra one. But we're cutting the carrot really thin. But right before we went out on this search to find Jeff's mom's family that she stayed with in Barcelona, we went to this market.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally almost cried because we had been in Barcelona, and we were eating all this food that was amazing. But in this market, there was just, fruit everywhere and produce everywhere, and it was like if I could live somewhere for the rest of my life, it would be inside of that market. I got this juice. It was papaya and coconut and lime juice, fresh juice. It was amazing. And they had all this freshly sliced fruit, dragon fruit, and I mean, papaya is my favorite fruit of all time, so that's why I keep talking about it.
They were sampling the seafood.
It was just
so good.
So incredible. And Jeff and I bought croquettes off of this one vendor, and it was just as far as the eye can see, it was this beautiful market of food, and I wish we had known about it earlier, but I was happy I went, and I ate a lot there. I'm just going to add these carrots in.
Yeah. So besides the Spanish food, a nice little taste of home. We're both in the tri-state area, and we're walking along Las Ramblas, and there's vendor after vendor of the same Spanish food. Don't get me wrong, great food. But then we come across the Holy Grail, and we run into the Dunkin' Donuts in Spain. So we got the iced coffee in Spain. It was wonderful. I was very appreciative.
As a side note, I did not go into Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay, well, Rebs and I went into Dunkin' Donuts.
I had my churros y chocolate.
Yes,
it's a churro is just fried dough, and it's kind of ribbed at the end. And the way that we have it here, we have these long strings of it. But in Barcelona, they're really tiny, and they're kind of ovular. And you get it with this small, it's almost pure melted chocolate. It is amazing. So I would choose that over Dunkin' Donuts any day.
I don't know.
Right now I'm cutting up about a cup of artichokes, just really roughly chopping them up. And I mean, artichoke is one of my favorite parts of this dish. It's awesome. And I'm also going to pour the juices that we got This is about like half a container of artichoke that you would buy. But I'm gonna pour some of the juices inside of our paella because it's really nice and like kind of sweet and salty. So I'm just gonna add this in as well.
We had another actually run-in with the tri-state area. We were on a boat ride at one point.
Oh yeah.
Going around the coastline of the city, and there's just us and a bunch of other tourists, and we sit down, and the three of us start talking, and we're obviously American because of our accents and the English that we're speaking, and this elderly couple in front of us turns around, and they start a conversation with us, and after a bunch of questions, we realize that not only are they American, but they are from Long Island, which is where Melissa's from, and they live in the same town.
They lived in the exact same town as I live in.
Small world.
Which, I mean, it's a really small world. It was like the funniest thing that happened when we were there.
They were very sweet.
And yeah, they were really sweet.
Home.
We took some pictures. Maybe I'll put the picture that I have with them
yeah,
up on the blog, up on the Veggie Bites blog when I post this this recipe. Right now, I'm just cutting up some lemon. I'm going to squirt a little bit of lemon in. We already have some really nice like acidity, like Jeff said before, from the tomato, and some nice sweetness from the artichoke. So I'm just going to squirt a bit in. But it's pretty traditional to serve lemon on the side of paella when you're serving it for people. So I'm just going to squirt just a touch, like not even a tablespoon of it in, so that people can squirt it on their own when they get it. So we have our lemon here, and I'm also going to add in our peas. We have just a half a cup of peas, and they're really nice and crunchy. You wouldn't really think that peas would be in paella, but they actually are in some traditional paellas.
I enjoyed them, yeah.
And so, okay, we had the tomato, we had the garlic, we had the onion, and the vegetable stock, which is really like salty and really flavorful. So we've been building flavor this whole time. And now we have our two really important spices. We have turmeric, which is this beautiful yellow that we used in 2 episodes ago when we were making a curry. And we have paprika. So we're going to use 2.5 tablespoons of this and 2 tablespoons of this. And it sounds like a lot, but paella is just supposed to be so flavorful. Like I said, we want that beautiful crust on the bottom. If you noticed before when I was stirring, I was very careful to fold the rice over, but not the bottom. We want to keep that bottom layer like a crust. It's not even going to taste like rice anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and add our spices in and fold them in.
That looks so good.
And here's the thing. Usually when you see paella, it's like orange kind of, and this is what gives it that orange look. We have the yellow and we have the red. So we're just going to fold this right in.